It looks like no more smooth sailing for two historic ferries in Connecticut that are older than the United States itself. Due to budget problems, the state is planning to shut them down, and it's not going over too well with local residents. Early show contributor Taryn Winterbrill has more on the effort to keep these ferries afloat.
The picturesque Connecticut River measures about 200 yards between the towns of Glastonbury and Rocky Hill. But for local residents on both sides, these are troubled waters.
Save our ferries! Save our ferries!
They sing a folk song for their ferry, the oldest and longest running in the country. And after 361 years, it's being shut down.
Really, since there's been people in Glastonbury, there's been a ferry at this crossing. It predates the charters of the towns, it predates Connecticut, it predates the United States.
Resident Dave Scampoli and others are trying to keep this ferry afloat, along with its downriver sister, the Chester Hadline. The two ferries provide a cross-river shortcut for vehicles and pedestrians and have been running for a combined 598 years.
To destroy something that is pristine as this, to stop historic activity that's been going on since 1650, that really cost the state a very minimal amount of money, to me it's ridiculous.
But for Connecticut Governor Dannel Malloy and his $1.6 billion deficit, it's a cut worth making. Last year, the two ferries generated about $150,000 in revenue, but cost the state more than $500,000 to maintain. Malloy declined to comment, but the Connecticut Department of Transportation stated that in order to save money, we've had to make difficult decisions, none of them ideal. Representative Prasad Srinivasan is fighting back.
We have to fill that hole. We're well aware of that, but, you know, doing it at the back of our ferry, I think is for wrong reasons, and I hope for our town and for the other town it does not happen.
Unless the protesters get an injunction, both ferries are slated to close next month. Commuters who wish to cross the river will have to drive out of their way to a bridge, adding both time and traffic. But mainly, residents seem concerned about losing this small yet significant piece of Americana.
When you heard that this ferry might be getting cut, what was your reaction?
I understand that the state needs to cut some funds, and I was disappointed they were going to cut it. It's such an old ferry.
I mean, we grew up here, so we used it like when I was growing up, biking back and forth. The kids love it.
Do you think this story resonates on a national level?
I think people relate to it. They can look around themselves wherever they live and see things that are being taken away from them for the purpose of cost savings, and really scratch their head and say, gee, does that really make sense?
Wow. Beautiful day for a ferry ride, huh?
Scampoli agrees that the country's bad economy makes this an all-too-familiar story for many Americans.
I think so. We've all been asked to give up too much, and there's a point at which you say enough.
Our state budget is extreme.
It's a peaceful song,
We want our ferry
but it's
to
also
float
a battle cry.
Forever it's our dream.
And on both sides of the river,
Don't shut our ferry down. Don't you shut it down.
they hope to save both ferries. Taryn Winterbrill, CBS News, Headline, Connecticut.
Don't shut our ferry down. Don't shut it down.
Well, it's not official just yet. See what happens.
Yeah, but this is a story, like the story tells us, that we are seeing throughout the country. There are cuts, and unless people pay more in taxes, it's probably unlikely they will get all the things that they get right now.
In the meantime, though, keep singing.
Yep.